Have you ever noticed how, right before a group of people take their first sip of a drink, someone almost always lifts their glass and taps it against everyone else's? You have probably done it yourself at a wedding, a birthday party, a holiday dinner, or just a casual night out with friends. But have you ever stopped to ask why we do this? Where does the habit come from? And what is the point of that little clink before we drink? Today, we are exploring the story behind that small, everyday gesture and the surprisingly big history behind it, right here on the Lost History of Everyday Things. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification icons. If you have ideas for future episodes, please leave them in the comments. The act of clinking glasses together before drinking is usually called a toast. The word toast actually comes from an old European custom of placing a piece of spiced or charred bread in a cup of wine. Long ago, people believed that a bit of toasted bread could improve the flavor of wine or soak up some of its acidity. And over time, the word toast came to describe not just the bread, but the entire act of raising a glass in someone's honor. Today, when we say we are proposing a toast, we no longer mean the bread. We mean the words, the raised glasses, and often, the clink that follows. First, it is important to know that not everyone in the world clinks glasses, and the custom is not practiced the same way everywhere. In some cultures, clinking is expected at almost every gathering, while in others it is considered unnecessary or even a little strange. In parts of Europe, for example, clinking glasses is closely tied to eye contact, and many people believe that if you fail to look someone in the eye while your glasses touch, you will have bad luck. Sometimes even said to bring 7 years of bad luck in the bedroom, according to old folk belief. In other regions, people simply raise their glasses and nod, without ever touching them together. So while the clink feels universal to many of us, it is really just one version of a much larger, more varied tradition of toasting. There are several theories about where the custom of clinking glasses actually began, and historians do not fully agree on which one is correct. One popular theory goes back to ancient times, possibly to Greece or Rome, when powerful people had real reasons to fear poison in their wine. According to this theory, clinking cups together so hard that some of the liquid splashed from one cup into the other was a way of proving that the drink was safe. If your wine spilled into my cup and mine spilled into yours, then neither of us could poison the other without poisoning ourselves as well. It is a dramatic story, and it certainly makes for a memorable explanation. But many historians point out that there is little solid evidence this was ever a common practice, and it may be more legend than fact. Another theory suggests that clinking glasses developed as a way to engage all 5 senses at once during a drink. Before the toast, you can already see the wine or ale in the glass. You can smell its aroma. You can feel the weight of the glass in your hand, and you can taste it once you drink. But without some kind of sound, the sense of hearing is left out entirely. According to this idea, the clink of glass against glass was added simply to complete the experience, so that drinking became a moment that involved sight, smell, touch, taste, and sound all together. It is a pleasant idea, and it is often repeated in etiquette books and wedding speeches, even though, like the poison theory, it is difficult to trace back to a single confirmed origin. There is also a theory rooted in superstition and protection from evil spirits. In many old European traditions, loud noises were believed to scare away evil spirits or demons that might be lurking nearby, especially during important gatherings like weddings, where couples were thought to be vulnerable to bad luck or jealous spirits. The sharp ringing sound of glass meeting glass may have been seen as a small protective ritual, similar to ringing bells or banging pots, meant to clear the air of anything unwanted before a celebration began. Some historians connect this same instinct to why people still say cheers loudly and with enthusiasm, since a joyful noise was thought to carry protective power of its own. Now, here is something I will admit honestly. I think this is a strange ritual if you really stop and think about it. Grown adults, in fancy restaurants and formal ceremonies, tapping small glass objects together on purpose, listening for a satisfying clink, sometimes even judging how well it sounds. I do it myself almost every time I am handed a glass at a celebration, and I have never actually understood why, beyond simply going along with what everyone else is doing. It is one of those customs that gets passed down without much explanation, the same way we say bless you after a sneeze without necessarily thinking about its origins in the moment. Maybe that is part of what makes these small rituals so interesting. We keep doing them long after we have forgotten, or maybe never even learned, exactly why they started. Beyond the theories about poison and protection, there is a simpler, more social explanation that many historians find convincing. Sharing a drink has been a symbol of trust, friendship, and community for thousands of years. Ancient feasts, military gatherings, and religious ceremonies often included communal drinking as a way to bond a group together. Clinking glasses may have simply developed as a physical way of literally connecting everyone at the table for a brief moment before they drank. Instead of each person quietly sipping alone, the clink turns the moment into something shared, something done together, almost like a small handshake performed with glass instead of hands. Different cultures around the world have developed their own words and customs around this same basic idea of toasting. In Germany, people say Prost and are very particular about making direct eye contact with each person they clink glasses with. In France, the word is santé, which literally means health, reflecting the common idea across many cultures that a toast is really a wish for someone's well-being. In Spain, people say salud, which also means health. In Scandinavian countries, the word skål is used, and in some Nordic traditions, everyone at the table is expected to individually make eye contact with every other person before drinking, which can turn a large dinner party into quite a long process. In Jewish tradition, the phrase l'chaim is used, meaning to life, turning the toast into a celebration of existence itself, rather than just a single event. In China, the phrase ganbei is often used, which literally translates to dry the glass, encouraging everyone to finish their drink in one go after the toast, a custom quite different from the smaller sips common in many Western toasts. In many of these traditions, there are also unspoken rules about who should be included and who should not. For example, in several cultures, it is considered impolite or even bad luck to clink glasses filled with water instead of alcohol, since water has sometimes been associated with funerals or mourning rituals rather than celebration. In some military and naval traditions, sailors historically avoided toasting with water because it was seen as wishing death upon someone, since drowning was such a real danger at sea. Because of beliefs like this, many people today still feel a little uneasy clinking a glass of water, even if they cannot always explain why. The position of your glass when clinking has also carried meaning in different times and places. In some older European customs, a person of lower social rank was expected to hold their glass slightly lower than someone of higher rank, as a sign of respect. This idea has softened a great deal in modern times, and today most people simply try to keep their glasses roughly level with everyone else's, especially in casual settings, though the old custom can still be seen at some formal dinners and diplomatic events. It is also worth looking at the word cheers itself, since English speakers use it so often without thinking about where it came from. The word originally comes from an old French word meaning face, and for a long time in English, it simply referred to someone's expression or mood, whether happy or sad. Over the centuries, the meaning narrowed until cheers came to mean good spirits or encouragement specifically, and eventually it became the short, friendly word people say while raising a glass. Other English phrases carry their own small histories too. Bottoms up is thought to come from old drinking cups with rounded bottoms that could not be set down until they were empty, forcing the drinker to finish the whole cup in one motion. Here's to you is a shortened version of longer, more formal toasts once used to wish someone health, happiness, or success, trimmed down over time into a quick, casual phrase for everyday use. Ancient Greek gatherings called symposia offer another interesting piece of the puzzle. These were formal drinking parties where wine was shared, mixed with water, and passed around in a fairly structured way, often accompanied by music, poetry, or philosophical conversation. While historians are not certain that glasses were clinked together in the exact way we do now, the symposium shows just how old the idea of ceremonial, shared drinking really is. Long before anyone worried about matching wine glasses at a dinner party, people were already treating the act of drinking together as something worth slowing down for, worth turning into a small, shared event rather than a private one. There is also a psychological side to why this small ritual has lasted so long. Researchers who study social bonding often point out that shared physical actions, even tiny ones like clinking glasses at the same moment, can create a sense of unity within a group. The synchronized motion, followed by the shared sound, briefly turns a room full of separate individuals into a single, connected group, even if only for a second or two. Some psychologists compare it to other synchronized rituals like clapping together at a concert or standing for a group photo, where the value is not really in the action itself, but in doing it together, at the same time, as one. Of course, in modern times, the clink before a drink has become mostly a social habit, rather than a protective spell or a test for poison. Most people who raise their glasses today are not thinking about ancient superstitions or medieval fears. They are simply following a comfortable, familiar custom that signals a moment worth pausing for. Whether it is a wedding toast, a birthday wish, a business celebration, or just friends getting together after a long week. The gesture has outlived its original explanations and has taken on a much simpler meaning. This moment matters, and we are sharing it together. So the next time you find yourself lifting a glass and tapping it gently against someone else's before taking a sip, take a moment to think about how old and strange that little habit really is. It has been shaped by fears of poison, beliefs about evil spirits, ideas about the five senses, and centuries of shifting social customs. And yet, it has survived into modern dinner parties, weddings, and toasts all over the world. Like so many small traditions, its exact origin may never be fully settled, but its purpose today is clear enough. It is a tiny, shared ritual that turns an ordinary drink into a small moment of connection. Thank you for watching this episode. If you have suggestions for our next videos, please share them in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lost history of everyday things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories that surprise us with their origins and bizarre stories.